Hey everyone, Zarak here, and I figured I would make a video on this thing before I would go to sleep. This is the Thundering Aris, and it's of course one of Defatoys' upgraded robots, which basically means one of Defatoys' disabled robots that used to do much more in the past than what it does right now. I mean, in this specific one, it's only one thing, but I guess I'm gonna go ahead and explain what I mean with this, because many people will be like, "What?" Well, back in 2008, when I was still young, I actually used to have the original model of this one, which, ironically, it was called Robot Model. And the main differences it had, of course, were that you were able to either get it with blue legs, with red legs. Mine personally had red legs, blue feet, blue arms, and blue head. The details were different, and the chest pretty much, all the parts that you see yellow were actually chrome. Of course, the other things that it did have purple glasses, and it had light bulbs instead of LEDs. But what do I mean when I say disabled? Because, well, you know, it can be led to some misunderstanding. When I mean what I mean with disabled is the fact that in this one it did have, just like any others, they have a certain gimmick that makes them cool and everything, and they kind of, well, disable that. By example, Robot Attacker had the same thing. It shared the exact same thing but for the arms. And basically they disabled that. They took the rod with the gears out. They took the gears from the side, but they kept the gear for the mechanism. In this one, it's pretty much something like that. For anybody who doesn't know, these back then had stickers on these domes, on these circles, and as you guys can see, it really spins. And if I were to show right there, you guys can see there's actually a gear. That is the gear that has that basically fits on the leg. When you assemble, pretty much when you put the leg on, because the only thing that keeps it in place, believe it or not, is just this ring with the screw. I may still have the red one from my original one. I'm pretty sure that the one thing I do know that I have is the original battery cover. Of course, I haven't cleaned this one up yet because even though it was new, it has received many rubbing inside the box when it was shipped to here, so I'm gonna have to clean that, especially in the fetus welders. As I said before, the original one would have these like spinning things on the bottom, and this one does not have them. That was like the catch thing. And pretty much when the robot would walk, those things would spin, and when the robot would, start turning the body, those things would stop. Another thing that I have noticed, because I took the robot apart just a little bit, not really too deep, is the fact that this one does not have the little weight on the chest. Yeah, you weight on the chest. Why would it have a little, piece of metal on the chest? Because at the second spin, when the gear basically goes down, it basically pushes the, both halves apart. And all around the body there's a board. There's like a little board where the lights connect to here. So they basically go through some wires, to the bottom. There's the red wires right there if you guys cannot see them, and there should be the blue wires are in the back. So basically, whenever this robot does the second spin, these lights have like a short disconnection, and then they reconnect again. Another thing, of course, is that this one is all LED powered, and I realized that you cannot trust Defatoys anymore within the sounds, nor the names, because apparently a few years back I think they did release the exact same one, but it had blue arms, blue head, blue feet, and red legs. And even though that's a little bit more accurate with the one that I used to have, I think it had another name, and this is probably a second generation or something, even though this is the one that I see it the most. And I saw it and I was like, you know what, I gotta get it. I just gotta buy it. I mean, it's not believe it or not, it's nothing close to the ones that I own. Because I was thinking, okay, what about if they actually have more than one Neo version? So I called them before. I used to call it Neo version, but until I saw the website, they said it was a upgrade. So kind of upgrade with downgrades, I should say. But you know, it's the exact same molds. The cool thing about Defatoys is that they didn't throw away the molds for the original robots. So what they basically did was they redesigned a couple things, which in this one they really didn't. The robot is all original in within molds. All that it would need is just a rod with two pinion gears that have the exact same gear teeth as the original, and maybe a small gear in the inside, and that can be actually supplied in case I find some sort of, a couple of gears and shit. That can actually be made. It's a little harder to do probably on the new version of Metal Fighter, which is the Armor Cannon or Armor Tech, due to the fact the chest they made it out of a brown plastic, and it doesn't have the little cylinder inside. But as I said, the cool thing about these is that they can be modified if you have the older version or if you have some knowledge about them. It's just the fact you may have to change one or two things, because of course you really won't see anything if you put the spinning cannon and the spinning cylinder in a armor warrior or armor cannon, pretty much. Though that one, the metal fighter, the new metal fighter. And as I said, as this one used to have that one feature that is thankfully the only feature that they took out, which it has nothing to do with the upper body. In fact, the upper body is completely enabled except for that little weight on the tip of the chest that it usually had. And of course, this one has a really lame chip. I thought it was gonna have the Arbiter Hunter chip. No, it actually has the this one chip that says Autobots transform and roll out, and it's like it's a really shitty chip. In all honesty, I am willing to change it because I don't really like it at all. But one thing that I don't really know if it's normal or not is that the gun is blue and the sword is red. On this one and the other ones, I think I've seen one that had a green gun and green sword, and one that has blue gun and blue sword. It kind of calls my attention, to be honest. But, anyways, a little bit of a robot. As I said before, they... Ah, shit. Of course, the battery cover comes loose just like that. Quality. The one thing is, of course, that the arms are still posable after, It makes me happy that after so many years they kept most of the features untouched except for the legs. Now the legs are spring-loaded, and you're gonna be like, what? What do you mean with spring-loader? Well, as I do remember, the legs did have a spring on the back that would pretty much... What that would pretty much do is it would pretty much retract the foot, and that's when the robot has to go like forward. Because if it didn't have that, it would basically wiggle a lot when it was, walking forward. That's how I learned it with my first one. As I said, my first one was the original robot model that had many paint differences, had more stickers, it would talk in Spanish, and it would have all the things, it would be a packed one. Then again, that was 10 years ago. So I really cannot ask that much, especially on this fucking type of economy. But anyways, as I said, the gun and the sword are removable. It really doesn't make much difference to show them, but these are the exact same molds and everything, so I'm glad they reused that. And I guess I should show the box before I even bother turning it on. Of course, as usual, they always have to say something wrong about these on the box. By example, that this one has light on the head that's red and blue. It's not. It's just a blue one, I think. Light on the long sword, it has a red light, I mean. Light before the chest, it has a green LED that goes back and forth. Just like the original one had this one light bulb that would pretty much make that effect. Light on the pistol is, it's blue, like that one I can understand. And of course this, instead of having, because the original one, all of its lights except the chest one would actually blink. Even the ones for the legs, but this one, The ones that are for the legs are the ones that stay lit, and they just flash red and blue, red and blue. And there's nothing much to show about it besides the fact, as I said, it's Thundering Aris. And I guess that's practically... Oh, I guess that's practically it, so... I guess I'll go ahead and show it. The switch is on the back.
Autobots, transform and roll out! Autobots, transform and roll out! Autobots, transform and roll out!
As I've said, in a time when the robot's spinning, and I'm pretty sure he does it without the weapons, or it does it without the weapons. It basically has a little disconnection when it's spinning.
Autobots, transform and roll out!
Well, it's not doing it right now. That's actually good. But as I said before, back today, like earlier today, it would actually do it. It would actually have this one like little disconnection, and that's why in the original one they added a little weight on the chest. Anyways, I mean that's practically the entire robot. I don't really like it as much as the original, but I guess it's something. At least it's an approximate one to the one that I had, so I guess I'm fine with that until I find the original one, which I don't know when the fuck it'll be because those things are no longer made. I mean, I know that Defatoys actually did release a few. When they released these, they actually did release a few of the standard original one. But then, of course, they stopped making them. Like, it's funny because Defatoys stopped making they basically just put them out for a short period of time. The original Metal Fighter, they did that. Now it's no longer made, apparently, because it's no longer on the website. So is this one. This one, it used to be, it's no longer on the website. The only ones, unless I'm wrong, but the only ones that I think that are still being made are the newer ones, like Madness Warrior, Space Fighter, Super Fighter, those that they actually made first to look like the old ones, and then they actually made them into newer ones with red, yellow, green, and blue plastics. I think those are still being made, but don't take my word on it because I really don't know. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and bye.